Heyrðu, já, og þetta er náttúrulega ekki komið. Classroom PC. Okay. I'm almost there. Jeps. Þetta kannski... Okay, let's start. So today I'm going to do a review of the course material, and this is like we call it in Icelandic upprifjun. Sometimes I called it recap of the material and discuss the written exam. And please ask whenever you like. This will be just, I'm planning to go through the material that you have. I think I have like 30 slides or something. And then we will have question and answer. I don't think we will take a break. It will just be a continuum, maybe for 1 hour, something like that. It depends on how many questions you have. I've only prepared for half an hour, 40 minutes presentation. Okay. Yeah, so first of all, the goal of the course, which I presented, I think on the second slide in the course, I wanted to focus on teaching you methods and for analyzing, designing, and evaluating software systems. So we are not really implementing, you're not programming, but you're both analyzing and designing and then evaluating software systems, focusing on the user aspects in the software development. So we were focusing on users all the time, and the learning outcomes are threefold. So you're probably used to that, the people here from Reykjavik University, but let me tell you just briefly that there are three different categories of the learning outcomes. One is for knowledge, and then there the goal is that you're able to tell about something. You're able to describe, tell me, what is this? So for these, I would like you to be able to tell about several methods for analyzing software where the user perspective is taken into consideration. You should have knowledge of evaluation methods that are conducted with or without users' participation. And you should have knowledge of guidelines for good design, and then how the integration of user-centered design methods, the methods we have been discussing and I've been telling you about here, how these are integrated into the Scrum development process. So these are the four knowledge learning outcomes. Then we have 5 skill learning outcome, and skills are 1 level up from knowledge. So you're not only able to tell about those, you're also, you have used it and you know how to use it. And by using it, you have it more in your fingers how these methods are. So I could actually ask you in the exam to tell me about some cases, when would this be fitted and so on. How would you do this in this situation? So if you for the learning outcomes here are 5. as I said. So the first is to be able to make a vision for software projects and explain the vision. And you did that in one of the assignments, and you, these are typical, these are the things that we focused on in the group assignments. So you're also, you should be able to estimate how good the vision is and if it solves a real problem. And we trained that also during class, that you were discussing with another group how good their vision was. You should be able to conduct contextual interviews and make affinity diagram. And you should be able to design a user interface based on the affinity diagram. And you use the method walking the wall for doing this, for gathering design ideas based on the affinity diagram to be able to design the user interface. And then you should be able to conduct formal user testing. The fifth, okay, sorry. The methods that you have been using here in the course to fulfill these learning outcomes are these. So, and you have to be able to both describe those and also how they are used. What characterizes those and what the results of using those are. And just to be straight here, I often ask about tell me 2 characteristics of this method. Like, tell me 2 characteristics of contextual interviews. Characteristics, some people have been asking me, some students ask me, what do you mean when you say characteristics? Yeah, so I'm just teaching how to do, what some of the words that I use in the test, what they mean. So characteristics are something that is special for this case. So like for me, maybe my characteristics are that I used to have red hair, at least, and green eyes, and I'm 163 centimeters and so on. So this is like how you describe this, and this is what differentiated it from others. So if we would take an example from the course, tell me 2 characteristics of the contextual interview method, that would be that it is in context, it is in the place where you are doing it. And so that is different from doing a traditional interview, because that could be anywhere. You could ask people to come somewhere or something, but contextual interviews are always in context, right? So that's one characteristic. The other one could be that that you are asking people to teach you. So the user is actually teaching you how to use a system. So the interview is more like you are learning and the user is teaching you. So then you have 2. An interview doesn't really have to be, interview is more open. Traditional interview, it could be more that you're just, you're asking about many things, but it's not as much focus on like learning how they use a typical system like the contextual interviews. Okay. So this could be a typical question, and I will show you some more typical questions afterwards. So I would like you to be able to explain what is it? What is a vision? What is it that characterizes a vision? What is a scenario, a user groups? How do you use these methods? Why do you use them? What is the purpose? How do you use the results? And these are the methods that you have been using in the assignments. So here we are on the skill level. So you used all these. You did a vision and a consolidated vision, which is actually just one form of the vision. But you should know what is different when you do a consolidated vision and a vision. Consolidated is actually when you take many visions and you gather the ideas from all of them to one consolidated vision. Yeah. So like I said, these are the methods that you have used, and you've also used these. You've done measurable goals. You've evaluated comparable solutions. Sometimes I also called it competition review. You've done informal evaluation with users and formal, and you used questionnaires in the formal evaluation. You used the RAMES framework, and you did planning of the user-centered design. So these are like the things that I would like you to be to know up to the skill level. Yeah, so these could be typical questions in the exam for this level. Describe 2 characteristics of the method scenarios. Describe the 2 benefits and 1 drawback for using scenarios in software development. Okay, and do you have any ideas how to answer this? What would you say? Scenarios, what is it that characterizes scenarios? Sorry? Yeah, it is a storytelling. It's informal narrative description. Remember, yeah, so it is like a storytelling. It tells, and what would be then 2 benefits? What would you say? Scenario is like a text description about a task where you involve particular characters. Like, remember, it was like Mr. and Mrs. Malcolm went blah, 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 blah. Very long line of text describing like their story. So one benefit would be that it's easy to involve users because they sort of connect nicely to this. And one drawback could also be that it's maybe too focused. It doesn't really cover everything. It just takes like one particular example, but doesn't tell maybe the whole story. It depends on how good the scenario is. Yeah, and then describe 2 factors that are different when conducting traditional interviews and contextual interviews. I was talking about this a little bit earlier. So one thing would be the place where it is conducted. Contextual interviews are always conducted in at the place where it will be used, the system. But traditional interviews, it's more flexible. And also the other thing would be that contextual interviews, you have these roles that you're learning from the user how the tasks he is conducting are done. But the traditional interview is more open. You can more or less ask about anything. So contextual interviews are more structured or focused. Okay. The next level is competences, and that is the 3rd level. And if you explain these like knowledge levels with a hammer, I've told you this before, but I always think this is a very good metaphor. So if you have a hammer, you can just look at it and say, this is a hammer. but you don't know how to use it. So that is the knowledge level. You can say, well, it has this this thing that you can hold it, and it's something there from iron, and the formation is this and this and so on. So you can describe it, but you haven't used it. And then the skill level is how to use it. So you know how to nail with the hammer, but the competences is knowing when to use it. Remember. So I'm telling you now on which level I want you to be able to tell me about the different things for the exam. So the competences are 3 there. I would like you to be able to tell me what user-centered software development methods or user-centered, user-centered design methods fit for analyzing, designing, and evaluating user interfaces in different projects. And then analyzing the benefits and drawbacks of using these methods. Okay, and then the third one is to be able to understand the main difference of these concepts, usability and user experience. So typical question in this category, the competence category, could be describe when is it better to conduct informal evaluation with users than conducting formal evaluation with users, and the reasons why. This is, for the competences when to choose each method. What would you say here? When is it better to do the informal one? Some ideas? Right. Informal is easier in the early stages because you're often, informal is more like a combination of evaluation and design. So it is like a joint interview and evaluation in a way. And then, you have, maybe you just only have a prototype. So on paper, so it's hard to do formal evaluation at that point. Measuring time and everything is maybe not relevant. Actually, I should phrase the question like describe one reason. So I try to make it measurable, that I ask you to do 1 or 2 or something that you can sort of say, yeah, I've done 1, 2. So you know when you have completed to answer the question. So the second one, name 3 methods that are used to describe the main ideas of the usage of a software system. What would these be? Right. That's one. Elevator speech. Vision, yeah, right. I'm sorry? Yeah, right. All right. Yeah, I have to change the name of that one. Yeah, but it's these 5W&AH analysis. Yeah. Yeah, right. And then, so name means that you're only telling the name of it. You don't have to tell me so much, but then the second sentence there, for each method describe 2 characteristics of that method. So then you have to take vision, and the first characteristic is this, second is this, 5W&H, the first is this, second is this, so on. Or maybe I would just say 1, I don't know. This is just to show how the questions could be, yeah? I tried to have it like clear that you are supposed to say 1 thing or 2 things. And if I say name, it's enough to say the name of the method. But if I say describe, I want more than just the name. You should describe the characteristics. I want like 1 or 2 sentences about it. Yeah. And then we had the knowledge learning outcomes. So there, I would like you to be able to describe what workshops. These are the methods that I introduced later on. Or sometimes I introduced this in parallel, but you were not using these in the assignments. But I would like you to know that these exist and how these are done. But these would be more, the questions would be describe how workshop is conducted, or describe how persona is used, or what is describe how the method persona is. So we had those, and we had those in combination with research results. Okay, so, and then we also, I talked about various interaction styles. We talked about guidelines of designing the web. We covered some research studies. And then we covered also what characterizes software development processes and how these affect user-centered software development. And here last week, we went through the phases of user-centered design process, the 5 things, and how these, and you did that too. So you did in one assignment, you did the planning of the UCD process by using these elevator speeds and vision and 5W and H analysis. You did specify the context of use. You described some of the user requirements, or at least you described user groups, and you made sketches that could be, I don't know, for some people that could be an activity for this, describing user requirements, but it then when it is more detailed, it comes into this here, making design suggestions, and you also evaluated the design with various methods. So you did, you used some methods in each of those. Yep. Yep. Mm-hmm. Okay, so there are some of those studies that we really did dig into, and we were talking about that, that were like outstanding. I wouldn't ask you about something like how were the results about personas or something, because you didn't use it. We didn't really talk that much about it, but I think like some of the results we have really talked so much about. So for this, I would really look at the slides and look at what we have been focusing on. That would be possible issues for questions. Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay. So typical questions for the exam in the knowledge category of the learning outcomes could be: describe 2 characteristics of heuristic evaluation. Describe what heuristic evaluation is and how it is conducted. You didn't really use this method, but I have told you about it, and there are several slides about how to do this. And also describe what characterizes maybe we should say describe 2 characteristics using gestures for the interaction between a user and the system. So I just made these up now. These are not old questions, or so I actually haven't tested those, and nobody has read those. So and this is like the first iteration. But you maybe see like how do you see how what possible questions there could be? Yeah. Okay, so what I emphasize is that you should really look at all the material on the slides. That is like the red thread for the material for the written exam. You have these chapters in the book, but I would look at what we covered in the slides and read the things for what we covered in the slides in the book. Sometimes they are, discussing something that we didn't really cover, so then you maybe can hop over or read or read it very fast. Just check it out. I also did put 5 papers here. But like I told you when I was answering you, these are more for supporting what is on the slides. You could, look at the papers and to get a better feeling about it. But I won't ask about something that are in the paper and we didn't cover it on the slides. I don't think that is fair. So I try to make it, have in the exam what we have been discussing and focusing on and so on. So I really try to be fair. But I did want you to have the papers because maybe you would like to look a little bit into how it was done and get like a richer picture of what is on the slides. Okay, where were we? Here, no. Here. There is also quite a good website to get information about many of the methods. It's this one. Where is it? Yeah. So this is the one. And wait. Is it here? No, topics. Yeah, sorry. Methods. So yeah, so here you have different methods for usability evaluation. You have something on questionnaire, something on usability testing with users. This is how you did that, what you did in assignment 4. So you can also, if you don't have the book, you could read here about the different methods we have been covering. Inspection methods. Here you have something on heuristic evaluation. And then here there's a detailed description, benefits, advantages, and so on. So there's a good material to support the slides there. Okay, some questions here. Then, yep. I'm not sure yet. Do you want that? Okay, so multiple choice questions typically, for me, I think, cover the knowledge part. It's hard to make questions that cover skills or competences. And in this course, we have been more working on skills and competences. It's rather, you did a lot of projects, we were discussing and so on. So they don't fit that well, I think. I have been like, haven't been telling you a lot of things, giving you lecture over lecture about things that you haven't been using. So and I think multiple choice are better for those, if you have like this and all these, you're supposed to be able to tell about those. So I'm not sure. Maybe usually I don't have like half of the written exam about multiple choice. I don't think there were any last year, but it would never be more than 20% then. Yeah, it's typically that. Yeah, in different scales. Sometimes maybe 3%, sometimes 10. Like bigger. Explaining the usage and something about the methods that you have been using then in the assignments. So it can be both like just brief, telling you this, and the heuristic evaluation is about is an informal evaluation using guidelines, and there are experts that are evaluating. You see, like tell you 3 things, or you would tell me 3 things about it. But it could also be more extensive. Yeah. Remember this one? Yep. we were really thinking about this one last Wednesday. How can this be that those 90% of those that do design, they program, but only 71% of those that program design? Yeah. Okay, so of course I went into the numbers and really calculated everything. So if you start to look at this, there are okay. So the short answer is, if you have like 50 people that are programming and 40 people that are designing, yeah. How could we do this? So maybe 38 are designing and 2 not. So you see, then out of those 40 that are designing, almost all are also programming. But out of those that are programming, not as many are designing. You see, because that is the short answer. But then I analyzed. The exact numbers. How many are? How is it actually? What are they doing? Those that are doing 3 job roles. But that was really that wasn't that much pattern in this. There's like one that is doing this combination, one that is doing the other combination. The most frequent combination was designing, programming, and being a specialist. You see? No. These are people that said, I have these three main job roles. My three main job roles are analysis, design, and programming. There were 4 people that said that. There were 2 that said my main 3 job roles are analysis, design, and testing. You see, so this is the frequency of the people. So there were 14 that said I'm only programming, nothing more. You know, I don't have any other main job role. There was none that said I only design or I only analyze. And there were 21 that said I have everything, you know, I do all of it. I'm a specialist and I do requirements, design, program, and test. So this is really telling us you know, you will be doing a lot of things. You'll be doing a lot of activities. There's not that much specialization out there. For me, this is telling that. And there are various combinations. Okay. So remember, we had this. How many are has one job role, 2, 3, and 4, and I have then analyzed it further here. And this was to understand these numbers there. These. Okay, I told you. Didn't I have the reading list? Yeah, this is the reading list from the book. And this was the book that we were talking about. And this is what we did in the course. You had these 4 assignments. And we did individual assessment of, and we had 10% of these in-class or individual assignments. Sometimes they were in class, sometimes you could do those at home. And then the written exam is 40%. So there's 50% individual assessment and then 50% group assessment. Yeah, and it is on the 17th of April from 9 to 11 in room V108. And this has been sufficient. Maybe this sounds strange to do a lot of written questions only in 2 hours, but it has been okay. And if you are there, you know, if there's a big group of people not being able to complete it, I will just ask them to make 50 minutes extension or something. It is not a question about being very fast writing. Yes, good question. I don't know. I can't remember how many there were. It has been okay, you know. I always come. I will come there 2 times, and often when I'm there on the second, for the second time, when there's half an hour left, there are many that have finished. So don't be worried about that. Okay, so any questions? More questions? Huh? Yeah. No, it's more describing, and yeah, it is text more or less that you're using. You did it in the assignments, but use it for reflecting on what you have been learning, and what are the pros and cons of the methods and which methods you would like to use. So it is a nice way of coming back to the material again and getting an overview of the material and what the strengths are of each method for you to be able to use those in the industry. Yeah, I've got this question. So I checked one old exam, and this was from the autumn 2012, and then the course was a bit different. So I didn't really think, when I was reading through it, I was like, no, this question doesn't fit. This, no, 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 no. And there were only a few that really fitted to the course like we did now. So I was actually afraid that it would more make you scared that you don't know this, because we had like another focus then. So I chose to show you like typical questions and tell you about these things that people have been worried about in the exam, like characteristics. What is that? I once came there, and the written exam had started, and everybody were asking me about this, and it was very. I didn't really know that it was hard to understand this word, so I was a little bit surprised. But of course, I will answer all your questions about the questions, not the answers. So I'm always very clear. You can't ask me, is this the right answer? I will say, now you are asking me about the answer. I can answer questions about the phrasing of the questions. Okay, if you don't understand what I'm saying, please ask me. That's no problem, and I will try to tell you about the question in another way for you to understand what I'm asking about. But I can't tell you it's this answer and not that answer if you are in doubt. Yes, I could do that. Yeah, sure. No problem. But and you are allowed to write both in Icelandic and English. It doesn't matter for me. Some students Icelandic students have chosen to do it in English because we've had all the material in English. But you could also, like have it then in brackets or something. If you choose to have Icelandic, then but don't know the Icelandic word, you could just yeah. Yeah. That's fine. Something more that you would like to ask or comment or? Yes. Alma told me that she was actually, I think that was early last week. So, and then she was starting to grade it. So I could ask her now what the status is and send you an email after that, just to tell you the schedule. You can send me an email when you're reading, asking me, or we could, of course, we could also have the Facebook page as a forum. I think that has been working quite nicely for the assignments. If you were asking about something that was unclear in the assignments, I was trying to be rather quick in answering. Okay. Some comments to me. Is there something that you would like to tell me if I should change something in the course or something that you think? No? Please answer the, if it's not closed already, please answer the course evaluation. I always look very closely to that, and I try to redesign the courses according to the feedback I get. So it would be very, very good for me to get a review there. Is it finished now, or remember that? It's not started. Okay, yeah. So please do. It's very, very good for me. I personally think that I've been very happy about how the flow in the course. I thought it was nice to have that you made this blog and then you were presenting and then working together. I thought it was a nice mixture of things. So yeah, you were making the blog, you were making one report, you were presenting, you were working together. There were a lot of activities. So I really enjoyed teaching you. And I hope you will use the material from this course in the future. And if you are in doubt, you can always drop me an email. I really like when students come back to me and ask me about some things from the course. It shows that they are using the material, and I always be very happy about that. Yeah. Yeah, so thank you very much for attending the course. I really like teaching you. Thank you. Thanks.